People talk about the worst day of your life, like it's something you can see coming. Like your body tingles or the sky darkens or something in the air shifts and whispers a warning. But the worst day of my life came quiet. No thunder. No screaming. No foreboding music. Just a soft knock on my front door at 6:12 a.m. on a Tuesday. I don't even know what made me get up. I barely slept the night before. I'd been tossing and turning thinking about bills, my job, and the fact that my husband Marcus had come home late again claiming overtime. But when that knock came, something in my chest tightened like someone tugged a string inside me. I padded through the house barefoot, rubbing sleep from my eyes. The sky outside was still a soft gray, the kind that makes the world feel half awake, like it's waiting for something to happen. I opened the door. And everything I thought I knew about my life evaporated. She stood there. A woman I had never seen before. Shoulders shaking. Hair messy like she'd been running. Clothes wrinkled and damp with morning dew. Her eyes were red, swollen but focused. On me. And on my left hand. Specifically. On my wedding ring. The one Marcus slid onto my finger 2 years ago. She looked at it like it stabbed her. Then she lifted her own hand. And I froze. As on her finger. She wore the same ring. The same design. The same engraving on the inside. And her voice cracked as she whispered, "I'm his wife. His real wife." My throat closed. His what? She didn't raise her voice. She didn't push her way in. She just stood there trembling in the cold morning air and said, "You need to get out of this house before he gets home." For a second I genuinely thought I was dreaming. Or hallucinating. Or dealing with some unstable stranger who wandered onto the wrong porch. But then, he said his name. "Marcus Carter," she whispered, pain threading through every syllable. "He told me he was on a business trip. He's not. He's coming here. To you." A chill crawled up my spine. My fingers went numb. I stared at her, this woman whose voice shook like she'd cried for hours. "What are you talking about?" I managed. "Marcus is my husband. We've been." She shook her head violently. "No," she whispered. "Marcus married me first. 5 years ago. I didn't know about you. Not until last night." My body went cold. "That's impossible," I whispered. Marcus said. "Marcus lies," she said. "He lies so easily he doesn't even blink." I tried to slam the door. Or maybe I tried to close it gently. My hands were shaking so hard I could barely feel the knob. But she pressed her palm flat against the door frame. Not forcefully. Just desperately. "Please," she said. "I'm not here to fight you. I'm here to warn you." I stepped back. "Warn me? Warn me about what?" I stared at this stranger who wore my ring, my husband's name, my life on her finger like a mirror I wasn't ready to look into. She took a shaky breath. "If he finds me talking to you," she whispered, "he'll lose control." My heart thudded hard. Lose control? How? He swallowed. Pain filled her eyes. "You don't want to find out." I opened my mouth to argue, to tell her she must be mistaken, but something in her expression stopped me. Not fear. Not sadness. Survival. Like she'd lived through something she wouldn't wish on her worst enemy. Can I come inside?" she asked softly. I hesitated. My instinct said no. My curiosity said maybe. But the fear blooming in her eyes said yes. I stepped aside slowly and she slipped in, hugging her arms to her chest like she was freezing even though the house was warm. She glanced around, taking in the living room, the photos on the wall, the couch Marcus picked out last summer. Her face tightened at the sight of it, like every detail confirmed a nightmare she hadn't woken from. She stared especially long at the framed wedding picture of me and Marcus. Her lips trembled. "He took you to the same honeymoon location." I felt my heart drop lower and lower. "How do you know that?" She reached into her bag, pulling out a folded piece of paper. He handed it to me. It was a printed email. From Marcus. To her. Talking about our anniversary trip to Maui. Talking about how he wished they could get away from work stress again. My stomach churned. But then, the second page slid loose and fell into my lap. A receipt. For the exact same hotel Marcus took me to. Same month. Same room category. He duplicated an entire vacation for 2 different wives. My hands shook so badly I almost dropped the papers. She sank onto the couch, clutching a pillow like it was the only thing keeping her together. "He said he was overwhelmed," she whispered. Said a break would help. But really he was planning to come here. To you. I sat across from her, my pulse pounding in my ears. You still haven't told me who you are. She looked at me slowly as if remembering she hadn't introduced herself. I'm Camille, she said quietly. Camille Carter. Hearing my last name out of someone else's mouth hit me like a slap. I couldn't speak. She continued, eyes glistening. I found your name in his messages. You know how he always keeps his phone on him? Even in the shower. She gave a small broken laugh. He slipped. Just once. What did you see? He stared at me, then at my wedding pictures. You. Fear rippled through me. You weren't supposed to know, she whispered. He didn't want any of his worlds overlapping. But when I saw your face, I started digging. She leaned forward, fingers twisting in her lap. And once I saw your wedding photos, I realized the truth. My breath caught. And what truth is that? Her eyes darkened. You are not the only other woman. My heart flipped. She held up trembling fingers. There are more. What? More wives. More girlfriends. More lives he built. More lies he weaponized. My head spun. No. Oh, that's impossible. Marcus isn't, he's not. She shook her head sadly. He is. Everything about him is calculated. Every detail. Every schedule. Every excuse. Every trip. Every smile. I stood up abruptly, pacing, trying to breathe. I need to call him, I said. I need to know why he did this. She shot up and grabbed my arm so quickly I actually yelped. No, she gasped. Do not let him know I came here. He needs to explain. He doesn't explain, she whispered. He manipulates. No, I said, shaking my head. Marcus isn't like that. He's warm. Considerate. Protective. Camille stared at me with heartbreaking sympathy. Protective, she whispered. Yes. But only when he feels ownership. Not love. The distinction sliced through me. You don't believe me, she said softly. I didn't believe me either. Not at first. I sank onto the armchair. She moved closer. You're probably thinking you know him. That he'd never hurt you. That he's not capable of something like this. That's exactly what I'm thinking, I whispered. She nodded. I thought the same thing. Until the night he grabbed me by the throat and pinned me against the wall, smiling because I asked him why he worked late. My blood turned to ice. I thought it was a one-time thing, she whispered. But it wasn't. Every time he sensed I might leave, he got worse. I shook my head, disbelief fighting with fear. He never laid a hand on me. Because you're still new, she said. Still a fantasy. Still something he's showing off to himself. A tear spilled down her cheek. But when that fantasy cracks, when you stop being perfect, when he finds flaws or doubt or questions. Her voice lowered. He breaks you. My lungs felt tight, my mouth dry. She leaned in, eyes pleading. You have to trust me. He's dangerous. I swallowed. He's never been dangerous with me. He will be, she whispered. The moment he realizes you know the truth. A cold wave washed up my spine. This is why I came, Camille said. Not to fight you. Not to take anything from you. She inhaled shakily. But to save you from the mistake I made. I stared at her, unable to reconcile the monster she described with the man who kissed my forehead every morning. But then, a loud vibration buzzed between us. My phone lit up on the coffee table. Marcus. My husband. Calling. I stared at the screen, dread sinking deep. Don't answer, Camille whispered. I didn't move. Let it ring. It stopped. Then buzzed again. Camille stood, backing away from the phone like it might explode. Please, she whispered. For your own safety, do not answer that call. My heart thudded painfully. The buzzing stopped once more. Silence. Then, my phone lit up with a text. 2 words. I'm coming. My blood froze. Camille grabbed her bag. We need to leave. Now. What? Why? She didn't blink. Because he knows I told you. I stumbled back. How could he possibly know? Her voice cracked. As someone always tells him. And he always comes home early when he feels something slipping. Fear exploded in my chest. Camille rushed to the window, cracked the curtain, inhaled sharply. Oh God. What? I whispered. She turned to me slowly, her face draining of all color. He's in the driveway. My knees buckled. I pressed a hand to my mouth, trembling violently. Marcus. My husband. The man I thought I knew. Standing outside. Coming home early. Because he knew something was wrong. Camille grabbed my hands, her grip tight, urgent. Listen to me, she whispered. Whatever happens next, do not let him into this house. I stumbled backward from the window so fast I nearly tripped over the coffee table. My breath caught in my throat, quick and shallow, like my lungs forgot how to work. Camille grabbed my wrist to steady me, but she was shaking just as hard. He shouldn't be here, she whispered. He wasn't supposed to be back this early. I pushed myself upright, my fingers trembling as I tried to peek through the curtain again. Camille yanked me back immediately. Don't let him see you, she hissed. My heart hammered against my ribs so loud I thought he might hear it from outside. You said he was dangerous, I whispered. But you didn't say he was watching us. She swallowed hard. He watches everything. He always has. I couldn't stop myself. I crept toward the window and cracked the curtain open a sliver. Marcus stood in the driveway, leaning against his car like he wasn't in a hurry at all. He wasn't pacing. He wasn't angry. He wasn't shouting. He was smiling. Not a warm smile. Not a confused smile. A small, tight smile. Like he was waiting for something. Or someone. Then he pulled out his phone. And lifted it to his ear. My phone buzzed on the table again. I jumped. Camille flinched. The screen lit up. Marcus calling. But this time, he didn't let it ring more than 2 seconds before ending it. He wanted me to know he was calling. He wanted me to know he was there. Testing. Measuring. Watching. The phone buzzed again. A text. From him. I see your curtains are moving. My blood turned to ice. I covered my mouth to stop myself from screaming. Camille backed away like the room had suddenly become too small to hold her fear. I told you he knows, she whispered. He always knows. I clutched my chest, my breaths turning into shallow gasps. What does he want? Why isn't he just coming inside? She closed her eyes. He's deciding how angry he is. That's what he does. He pauses. He calculates. He figures out what version of himself he needs to be to get what he wants. What version? I echoed. She opened her eyes. The one you'll believe. I stared at my phone, at his name glowing brightly like a warning flare in the dark. Another message came through. Baby, why are you hiding? I felt my knees weaken. My stomach twisted like someone wrung it out with both hands. Camille grabbed my shoulders. We need to leave out the back. Now. What? We can't leave, he's right there. He won't chase, she whispered. Not yet. He'll wait to see if you let him in first. My pulse thundered in my ears. Why would he wait? Her expression tightened. Because he wants you to choose him. It's part of his control. If you run, it means you're guilty of something in his mind. If you stay, he still owns the situation. My throat dried. Owns. Marcus doesn't have relationships, she said quietly. He has possessions. Just then. Another vibration. A voice note this time. Camille lunged toward my phone. Don't. But I already tapped it. Marcus's voice poured into the room, soft and calm and terrifying in its gentleness. Baby, open the door. My breath hitched. Camille pressed her shaking hands to her temples like she was going to be sick. His voice continued. I just want to see you. Just want to talk. Why are you hiding from me? The softness in his tone didn't soothe me. It strangled me. Because I had heard him use that exact voice before. Once when he found a dent in his car and thought I caused it. Once when he saw a text from a male coworker asking a question about a project. Once when I said I didn't like him raising his voice. Soft. Dangerously soft. The calm before something snapped. The voice note ended. Silence washed through the room. Then another message arrived. I know Camille is in there with you. Camille gasped, covering her mouth. Why would he say that? I whispered, my voice cracking. Because he's certain, she said. Someone told him I left the house. And he knows me. He knew I'd come to you. I backed up until my shoulders hit the wall. Why would anyone tell him? She looked up at me with hollow eyes. Because he terrifies them too. My mind reeled. The world tilted. Listen to me, she whispered. He's not going to leave. Not until he gets what he wants. I pressed my palm to my chest to steady my breathing. What does he want? Her voice dropped to a trembling whisper. You. I shook my head. He doesn't know I know. He doesn't know I've talked to you. She stepped closer. He always knows more than he should. Another knock. This one slow. Calculated. But. Marcus's voice drifted through the door. Calm, steady, too soft. Sweetheart. Open up before I get worried. Camille shook her head violently. That's not worry. That's a warning. I was shaking so hard I could barely stand. And then something strange happened. Something quiet. Something subtle. I realized. I didn't know the man on the other side of my door. Not really. I knew the version of him he'd shown me. The protector. The armor. The thoughtful husband. But the man outside. The one who texted me like a predator. The one who stood in my driveway at dawn waiting. The one who knew far too much. That man was a stranger. Another knock. Baby, if you're upset just tell me. I can fix it. Camille whispered. He can't fix what he causes. I suddenly felt dizzy. I can't just not answer. What if he breaks the door down? He won't, she said. Not unless he loses control, and he hasn't yet. Not while he still thinks he can talk his way in. He's going to know something's wrong. He already does. What if he hurts you? I asked. It won't be the first time. My breath hitched. She wasn't speaking figuratively. Then another vibration. A photo. One that made the world stop spinning. Marcus had taken a picture. Of my car. The angle was from behind it. From someone standing just inches away. It meant he'd walked around the side of the house. He was checking exits. Checking escape routes. My whole body went cold. Camille grabbed my arm. He's scouting. That means his patience is running out. Thought I might throw up. But we can't go out the back, I whispered. He's already looked at the cars. Then we don't leave through the back. I frowned, panicked. Where then? She took a deep breath. The neighbor's yard. Between the fences. He won't think you know the gap is there. We'd have to pass the living room window, he could see us. No, she said. We crawl. Crawl. Yes, she whispered. Stay below the window line. My heart pounded. Before I could respond, Marcus's voice came again, muffled through the door. This time not soft. Sharper. Janelle. My name spoken like a challenge. I froze. I'm done knocking, he said quietly. Open the door. Camille mouthed, don't move. Silence. Then metal clicked. I knew that sound instantly. Marcus was unlocking his emergency key hidden under the porch. My heart crashed against my ribs. How? I whispered. Of course he has a key, Camille said. You think he wouldn't? Second click. He was unlocking the door. Camille grabbed my hand. We go now. But. Now. We dropped to the floor, crawling fast, knees scraping against the hardwood. The front door latch jiggled. Marcus was inside the porch. His shadow darkened the frosted glass. Camille motioned silently. Lower. We flattened ourselves to the floor and slid behind the couch. The doorknob turned. I bit down on my fist to stop myself from making a sound. Marcus pushed the door open. Slowly. Purposefully. His footsteps entered the house. And with every soft step the air grew colder. He didn't call my name. He didn't ask where I was. He was listening. Listening for floorboards. Breathing. Movement. His voice came soft, measured. Sweetheart, come out. Camille squeezed my hand so tight my fingers throbbed. Marcus walked deeper into the house. Toward the kitchen. Toward the hallway. Away from us. For now. We go, she mouthed. We crawled toward the back. Fast, silent. Moving on adrenaline alone. Marcus's footsteps paused. Then he walked back toward the living room. Toward us. We reached the sliding door. Camille unlocked it silently, inching it open. Cold air rushed in. Footsteps got closer. I held my breath. And we slipped out onto the back patio just as Marcus's shadow fell across the living room floor where we'd been seconds ago. We crouched low, moving toward the side fence, Camille leading. My legs burned. My lungs screamed. Marcus spoke behind the glass door. Janelle, I'm not mad. I just want to talk. Then, A sound that froze my blood. The sliding door latch unlocking. He was following. We crawled faster, ducking into the narrow gap between fences, dark, tight, barely wide enough for us to squeeze through. Branches scratched my arms. Dirt smeared my clothes. The fence boards pressed into my spine. Camille crawled ahead, whispering, "Almost there, almost." Then we reached the neighbor's yard. We rolled under their bush, hidden by leaves. Marcus stepped outside. He scanned the backyard, his silhouette sharp and still. Then his voice came low, chillingly calm. "I will find you." I felt tears spill silently down my cheeks. Camille squeezed my hand. And we stayed frozen under that bush, praying he wouldn't hear the sound of our breath. As the man I once loved hunted for me in my own backyard. We stayed under that bush so long I couldn't tell where my body ended and the dirt began. The leaves scratched my face, my knees throbbed from crawling, and every shallow breath felt like it echoed through the entire neighborhood. Camille's hand held mine in a death grip, the only anchor stopping me from breaking down completely. Marcus stood on the patio motionless. He scanned the yard with slow, meticulous precision, head turning inch by inch, eyes sharp, alert, searching. He wasn't calling my name anymore. He wasn't pretending to be calm. He wasn't playing the gentle husband or the confused man who just wanted to talk. He was hunting. My heartbeat pounded in my ears so loudly I worried he'd hear it from 20 feet away. Finally, Marcus took one step off the patio. But only one. Then he stopped. He tilted his head slightly, like he was listening for a whisper, a gasp, a rustle. And for a terrifying moment I swore his eyes locked right on the bush we hid under. Camille tensed beside me. I felt her breath catch. Just when I thought he was going to walk straight toward us. He turned his head. Toward the fence. Toward the gap we crawled through. He stepped closer to it, crouching, examining the dirt and crushed leaves, the signs of our escape we couldn't erase. My stomach dropped. He knew. He knew we crawled through the gap. He knew we were no longer in the yard. His fingers grazed the fence boards. Then he stood slowly, breathing in, and exhaled. And with that long, controlled exhale he seemed to make a decision. Marcus walked back toward the house. Not quickly. Not angrily. But with the steady, purposeful steps of someone who wasn't finished. He disappeared back inside. The sliding door closed. And we stayed exactly where we were, too terrified to move. Minutes passed. 5, 10, 20. We didn't dare breathe too loudly, didn't dare crawl out from under the bush, didn't dare risk him still watching from a window. A light inside the house flicked on. Then another. He was still there. Camille leaned in close to my ear, whispering so softly I barely heard her. "We go to the street. Quietly. Stay low." "I can't," I whispered. He's in the house. "That's why we move now," she said. "If we wait, he'll check the neighbors next. Or circle around. Or..." Her words died in her throat. We heard something. A sound that wasn't the wind or a door or a car passing in the distance. Footsteps. But not in the house. On the gravel path beside the neighbor's yard. Slow. Almost curious. Camille grabbed my wrist tight enough to bruise. "He's checking the sides," she mouthed. I swallowed hard, my mouth dry as sand. We pressed ourselves flatter against the dirt as the footsteps drew closer, each crunch of gravel slicing through the silence. He was right on the other side of the fence. I saw his shadow between the cracks in the wood. My pulse thundered so violently I thought it might tear my heart open. Camille closed her eyes, mouthing silent prayers. Marcus paused. Right beside us. I saw his shoes, black sneakers, through the inch of space between two planks. I watched his feet rotate slightly like he was scanning the yard. I bit into my knuckle to stop myself from crying. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, he stepped away. The sound of his footsteps grew softer. Then disappeared. We stayed still. For a full minute. For 2. For 5. Only when Camille seemed sure he'd moved far enough did she whisper, "Now." We crawled out from under the bush, dirt stuck to our faces and clothes. My knees were scraped raw, my palms gritty from the ground. Every movement felt like dragging a boulder. We moved along the fence line to the back corner of the neighbor's yard. Suddenly the world felt too open. Too exposed. Too bright. But we had to keep going. The street behind the neighbor's house was empty. No cars, no people, just silent morning air still waking up. Camille scanned both ends of the street, checking for Marcus's car. He's still in your house, she said. We go this way. We walked fast but hunched low, heading toward the intersection. My mind raced the entire time. Every crunch of leaves, every distant dog bark, every car starting blocks away made me flinch. How did he know to come? I whispered finally. You don't want the real answer, she said. I do. She hesitated, her lips tightening. Because I wasn't the only one who knew where I was going. Who else? Someone who owes him. Someone he has leverage on. Someone he's controlled for years. I stopped walking. Do you mean friends? Family? She didn't answer. That scared me more. We reached the end of the block. Camille checked the street again, then motioned for me to follow her across toward an alley where the houses weren't visible. At the mouth of the alley stood an old green sedan. Here, Camille said. I parked around the corner. Get in. My hands shook so badly I could hardly pull the door handle. Once inside, I sank into the seat, overwhelmed by the sudden shift from raw fear to a small pocket of safety. Camille rushed around to the driver's side and slid in, locking the doors. For a moment. Just one. We sat in the car, silent, breathing like two people who'd been pulled from the edge of a cliff. Camille finally wiped her face with shaky hands. He won't stop, she whispered. He'll look for us. He'll call every person he knows. He'll check every road. Every possibility. So what do we do? I whispered. She placed both hands on the steering wheel but didn't start the engine. We disappear first. I shook my head. Disappear? For how long? As long as it takes. That's insane. So is he, she whispered. Silence swallowed the car. Camille started the engine and the sedan rumbled to life with a shaky cough. She pulled onto the street, accelerating until the houses blurred. Where are we going? I asked. To a place he doesn't know about. What place? My sister's, she said. She lives 2 towns over. Marcus doesn't know her address. I nodded slowly, trying to absorb everything. But as we drove down the main road, something nagged at me. Something heavy. Something confusing. Something I couldn't ignore. Camille, I whispered. She kept her eyes on the road. Yes. You left him too? She nodded once, jaw tight. Months ago, she said. I thought I escaped. I changed my number. I moved out. I cut ties with everyone who led him back to me. What happened? I found him in the passenger seat of my sister's car one morning, she said. Sitting there. Waiting. Chills crawled up my arms. What did he do? He cried, she said softly. He begged. He apologized. He said he'd never touch me again. He said he missed me. He said he couldn't breathe without me. I swallowed. And he took me home, she whispered. And for a while, he was perfect. How long? 6 weeks, she said. Then I asked him if he'd ever cheated on me. I felt cold. What did he do? He grabbed my phone and smashed it against the counter, she whispered. Then he grabbed mine. Then the TV. Then the glass table. He destroyed everything he bought for me and screamed that I was ungrateful. I covered my mouth. Oh my God. And when he was done, she said, voice hollow, he kissed me and said I made him do it. My stomach twisted. And then the next morning, she continued, he brought me flowers and pancakes in bed like nothing happened. I felt sick. That's when I started saving money, Camille said. Planning my escape. Did he ever, actually, I couldn't finish the sentence. Hit me, she whispered. Yes, once. And he apologized for a month afterward. Bought me gifts. Wrote me notes. Planned dates. He convinced me I made him better. I believed him. Tears pricked my eyes. And then he proposed again, she whispered. A renewed vow. He wanted to restart. I told him I needed time. And what did he say? He said, she breathed, you're already mine. Time won't change that. My chest tightened painfully. Janelle, Camille whispered, men like Marcus don't love. They consume. I wiped my eyes, shaking. He never hurt me. He will, she said. The moment he senses you're slipping. But why me? I whispered. She looked at me, her eyes filled with something sadder than fear. Because you're perfect for him. My breath caught. What does that mean? You're soft, she said gently. Kind. Loyal. Hopeful. You love deeply. You forgive easily. You make excuses for people you care about. And you're steady, emotionally steady. You're everything he can manipulate. I felt heat rise to my face. Anger. Shame. Confusion. All tangled. That's not fair, I whispered. It's not, she said softly. But it's true. I stared out the window as houses blurred by. He won't stop, Camille repeated. He'll come for you the way he came for me. And the next time he finds you, he won't smile through it. My stomach twisted. What if we go to the police? She gave a small broken laugh. The police don't help with paranoia. Or manipulation. Or charm. Marcus presents well. He knows how to talk. How to cry on command. How to act like the victim. My chest ached. But what about? He'll tell them his wife ran off with his money. Or that I'm unstable. Or that you're cheating. He'll twist it so fast you won't know what happened. I felt hollow. But we can't run forever, I whispered. Camille stared at the road ahead. No, she said quietly. We can't. Then what? She exhaled, long, heavy, resigned. We expose him, she said. Together. My breath hitched. Expose him how? We find the others. The other women. The ones he married. The ones he lied to. The ones he hurt. Cold washed through me. How many do you think there are? I whispered. Camille looked at me. A lot, she said. More than you want to believe. My pulse quickened. You said he married you first, I said. But what if that's not true? Her lips parted. The thought struck both of us at the same time. Oh my God, she whispered. What if we're not the only wives? The car fell silent. And for the first time since the morning began, a new fear settled into my bones. This wasn't just about me. Or Camille. This wasn't about a cheating husband. This was about a man who built entire lives. Multiple lives. And expected all of us to exist for him. Only him. And now that everything was unraveling, what would a man like Marcus do? Keep control? Camille's phone buzzed in the cup holder. We both jumped. She picked it up with trembling hands. The message was from an unknown number. But the preview made my blood run cold. Hello, Mrs. Carter. Camille's face went pale. She opened the message. And there was a picture of us. Taken through the car window. From the side of the road. I screamed. Camille slammed her foot on the gas. And the car lurched forward. He wasn't at the house anymore. He was following us. The world blurred as Camille floored the gas pedal. My body jerked back against the seat, heart slamming against my ribs. The sedan roared down the empty road, tires screeching as she took the first left without slowing. My hands shook uncontrollably, gripping the sides of the seat. I kept replaying the image on Camille's phone in my head. Us captured through the window from just seconds ago. That wasn't a picture he had taken earlier. That was now. That was close. He's behind us, I whispered, voice trembling. He's here. Camille didn't answer, her eyes locked on the road, jaw tight as stone. The way she gripped the wheel, knuckles white, told me she wasn't sure how far behind he was, or how close. Her phone buzzed again. Then again. Then again. I snatched it from the cup holder with shaking fingers. 3 new messages. All from unknown numbers. All from him. You shouldn't run. You're making a mistake. Camille. Pull over. Another buzz. A 4th message. Janelle, I see you. My vision blurred with tears. He knows I'm with you. Camille swallowed hard. He always knows. How? I cried. How could he possibly be this close? We crawled under a bush, we went through a fence, we got in the car. He had time, she whispered. While we were hiding. He knew we'd head for the car eventually. Or the street. He waited. My stomach twisted. So he saw us? Or he followed us from the house, she said. He's quiet. You don't hear him unless he wants you to. My pulse thundered. What if he put something on your car? Camille's fingers tightened around the wheel. I checked for trackers, she whispered. But Marcus, he's smart. Smarter than I ever gave him credit for. The road ahead stretched empty, a long straight path cutting through quiet houses and early morning fog. But I couldn't shake the feeling that every shadow held a threat, that every car behind us might be him. Camille. I whispered. What if he's already here? She glanced in the rearview mirror. Then her eyes widened. A dark sedan turned the corner behind us. Not fast. Not frantic. Just steady. Controlled. Exactly like him. My heart nearly stopped. That looks like his car, Camille finished. I felt the air tear from my lungs. He wasn't behind us. He was following us. Deliberately. Casually. Like a man taking a morning drive. I can't outrun him, Camille hissed. His car's newer. Faster. Then what do we do? She took a sharp right, barely slowing down. The tires skidded. My shoulder slammed into the door, but I didn't care. All I saw was the dark sedan behind us. Turn right too. Oh God, I whispered. Stay calm, Camille said, breath shaking. We just need distance. Just a little distance. She took another turn. Then another. We weaved through side streets like a maze, trying to lose him. We reached a four-way stop. The dark sedan appeared again, this time from a different direction. He's cutting us off, she whispered. He knows this town better than we do. He's trapping us. No, Camille shook her head fiercely. Not yet. She sped through the intersection, ignoring the stop sign. My heart lurched as we blew past a cyclist, missing him by feet. We couldn't keep doing this. This won't work, I said, tears streaming down my face. We need help. We need someone. Camille shook her head. No police. No friends. No family. That's the first place he'll check. Trust me. We can't just run forever. We don't need forever, she whispered. We just need one moment where he can't see us. And then what? We disappear. How? I cried. How do we disappear when he's literally behind us? She didn't answer. Her silence terrified me more than her words. The dark sedan grew closer in the rearview. 10 car lengths. Then 5. Then 3. Camille, I whispered, he's gaining. I know. We need to do something. I'm thinking. Think faster. She inhaled sharply. Then her eyes widened. An idea. Hold on. Before I could ask anything, she jerked the wheel hard to the left. The car swerved off the street, bouncing violently as we rolled over the curb and onto a narrow dirt path between 2 rows of abandoned warehouses. What are you doing? I screamed. Losing him, she shouted back. The car rattled, dust clouding the windows. The dark sedan behind us hesitated at the turn. Come on, Camille whispered. Take the bait. Come on. The sedan slowed. And then, it followed. He was coming. Harder. Faster. Straight down the dirt path after us. Camille accelerated, eyes wide, sweat dripping down her temple. This is it, she whispered. He's committed. He's following where he can't turn around. And that helps us how? He pointed ahead. There. Up ahead, behind the warehouse, was a sharp drop. A hidden downward slope. Leading into a drainage tunnel. Beneath the street. A place where cars couldn't follow. That's too steep. I yelled. You'll crash. Yes, Camille said. But he won't. I don't understand. We don't go down, she said. We stop at the edge. My heart slammed against my ribs. She braked hard just before the slope, tires screeching, dust exploding around us. The dark sedan skidded behind us. Its brakes screaming, stopping just inches from hitting us. For a moment, just a moment, everything fell still. Camille turned to me. Now. Tao what? I gasped. We run. She threw her door open and bolted. I scrambled out after her, my legs nearly buckling as I landed on uneven ground. Behind us, the driver's door of the dark sedan opened. And Marcus stepped out. Fully. Quietly. A shadow in human form. He didn't yell. He didn't run. He just stepped out, closed the door and looked at us. Looked straight at me. His voice floated across the dirt path. Low, steady, chilling. Sweetheart, come here. I stiffened. Camille grabbed my arm. Don't look at him. But I couldn't help it. His eyes were locked on mine. Dark. Focused. Certain. Janelle, he said softer now. You don't have to be scared. I just want to talk. My throat tightened. You followed us. I was worried. You scared me. You scared me first, he said gently. Camille tugged my hand. Janelle, move. I stumbled backward toward the slope. Marcus took a step forward. But only one. He stopped at the edge of shadow where sunlight hit the dirt, like stepping into full light exposed him too much. His lips formed a small, unsettling smile. You think she's protecting you, he said softly. But she's lying. Camille shoved me. Don't listen to him. Marcus tilted his head slightly. Ask her, he said. Ask Camille why she really left. Camille froze. Something twisted in my stomach. Marcus saw it. See, he whispered. She won't tell you. She never tells the whole truth. Camille's face contorted with fear. Janelle, keep moving. What truth? I breathed. She isn't the victim she claims to be, Marcus whispered. She left because she wanted to. Not because she was afraid. Stop, Camille shouted. Janelle, don't listen. Marcus raised one eyebrow. Controlled. Ask her, he said softly. Who she left me for. My heart stopped. Camille went still. Completely still. Marcus continued, his voice smooth as glass. She ran because she was cheating on me. No, Camille whispered. No, don't. He took a slow step forward. And when the man dumped her, he said, she crawled back sobbing, begging me to take her back. Camille burst into tears. He's lying, she cried. He twists everything. He forgave you, Marcus said gently, eyes still on me. Even after you shattered him. And now she's doing it again. I shook my head. This can't be true. Why do you think she came to you? He asked. Why do you think she knocked on your door this morning? Marcus placed a hand over his heart. She wants to hurt me. Camille screamed, and no. But Marcus didn't flinch. He looked right at me. Straight through me. She wants you to leave me because she can't stand the idea of me being happy with someone else. That's not true. Camille sobbed. Janelle, he's manipulating. Who do you believe? Marcus whispered. My breath shook. He extended a hand. Inviting. Terrifying in its gentleness. Come here, he said softly. I took one step back. Marcus's jaw tightened almost imperceptibly. Sweetheart, he whispered, don't make me do something we'll both regret. Camille yanked me toward the slope. Run. Marcus lunged forward. And we ran. We slid down the steep drop, dirt tearing beneath our feet. I tumbled hard onto my hands, scraping them, pain slicing through my palms. Camille grabbed my arm and pulled me into the drainage tunnel. It was dark, cold, and echoing. Behind us, Marcus reached the top of the slope. But he didn't follow. He stood there. Watching. Waiting. His silhouette framed against the morning light, still and patient. And his voice drifted down after us. Low, quiet, deadly calm. Janelle. This isn't over. We sprinted into the dark until the sound of his voice faded. But no matter how far we ran, his words kept echoing in my skull. This isn't over. The drainage tunnel swallowed us whole. Cold air wrapped around my skin like damp fingers, and every footstep echoed too loudly in the hollow darkness. Camille kept pulling my arm, forcing me deeper into the tunnel even though my legs shook so violently I almost collapsed twice. Water trickled along the concrete trench beside us, its faint sound mixing with my ragged breathing. I kept wiping my face with the back of my hand, smearing dirt and tears together. My palms stung from the scrapes. My knees throbbed. But none of that pain compared to the twisting dread in my chest. Behind us, faintly, the world still existed. The slope, the sunlight, the empty path. But Marcus didn't chase us. And that terrified me more than hearing him run after us ever could. Because Marcus didn't need to chase. He planned. He waited. He calculated. And he always found a way. Camille slowed down only when we reached a bend in the tunnel where the light from the entrance no longer reached us. She leaned her back against the wall and slid down until she was sitting on the cold concrete. I collapsed next to her, breathing like I'd been underwater for minutes. You okay? She whispered. I shook my head. No. She nodded. Good. That means you understand the danger. The danger. I'd been repeating that word in my mind ever since sunrise, but I still couldn't wrap my head around how everything had escalated so fast. A morning that should have been quiet, calm, predictable had exploded into chaos and lies and threats and revelations. I wiped my face again, trying to clear my eyes. Camille, what he said. About you cheating. Is it true? Her breath caught. I knew you'd ask, she whispered. You didn't answer him. Because you shouldn't have had to hear it like that. My throat tightened. So, is it true? She swallowed hard. Yes. The word echoed in the tunnel. I closed my eyes. Camille's voice broke. Janelle, please listen. It wasn't like he said. Then tell me. She exhaled shakily. I cheated because I was desperate. Because I needed someone, anyone, to remind me who I was. To remind me I still existed. Marcus had isolated me from everyone. Wore me down. Made me question myself. I wasn't in love with the man I cheated with. I was drowning. Her voice cracked. And Marcus found out. And he used it against me every day afterward. As proof that I was the broken one. That I was ungrateful. That I was lucky he still loved me. I listened silently. Janelle. I left him because I was afraid of what he would do the next time he snapped. Not because of the affair. The affair was the symptom, not the reason. I looked at her, really looked at her. The exhaustion in her eyes. The trembling in her hands. The years of fear etched into the lines of her face. I believed her. But another thought chilled me. He told me I was perfect for him, I whispered. Like he studied me. He did, she said. They always do. Why didn't he hurt me the way he hurt you? Camille's eyes softened. Because he didn't need to. Yet. The word, yet, sliced through me. We need to move, she finally said. The tunnel leads out into the industrial district. Marcus won't risk coming inside. It's too cramped for his car. And he doesn't like tight spaces. So he has weaknesses? A few, she whispered. But one of them isn't patience. I shivered. We continued deeper into the tunnel, our footsteps echoing in an uneven rhythm. The air grew colder and the faint smell of rust mixed with damp concrete. The light behind us dimmed until it disappeared completely, leaving only the faint, distant glow of another exit ahead. What if he's waiting on the other side? I whispered. Camille shook her head. He won't guess we took this route. The slope looks like a dead end. He'll assume we ran into the woods. Are you sure? She hesitated. No. The tunnel stretched ahead, long and dark and empty, but strangely safer than the world outside. At least here he wasn't staring at us with that calm, terrifying smile. We emerged from the other end into a fenced-off drainage reservoir surrounded by rusted pipes and old warehouses. Camille found a section of loose fence wiring and pulled it aside. Through here, she said. We slipped through and made our way to the side of a large warehouse. The sun was higher now. Workers and early delivery trucks filled the street in the distance. Normal life moving on while ours crumbled. Camille peeked around the corner. Nobody here, she whispered. Good. Where do we go now? I asked. My sister's, she said. She'll help us. I hesitated. What if Marcus knows her? He doesn't, she whispered. I made sure of that. She guided us further down the block where an old bus stop sat near a chain-link fence. We'll take a bus, Camille said. He won't expect us to use public transportation. I shifted nervously. What if he shows up here? He won't. Camille said it confidently, but her eyes scanned every passing car, every pedestrian, every shadow. The bus arrived with a loud hiss. We climbed aboard and took seats at the back. My legs ached, my throat burned, and every beat of my heart pulsed with fear. But for the first time since morning I felt a small, fragile sense of safety. The bus pulled away. And as we merged into traffic I let myself breathe just a little. Camille leaned her head back, eyes closed. We'll switch buses twice, she whispered. Then call my sister. She'll meet us at a neutral spot. I nodded. Then froze. A woman stood outside on the sidewalk as the bus rolled past. A woman holding a phone. A woman staring directly at us. A woman with a calm, familiar smile. My stomach dropped. That's... I know, Camille whispered, her eyes snapping open. Marcus's newest wife. The one he married after Camille left. The one I had never met. The woman in the photo album in his drawer. The one wearing Camille's old wedding ring. She lifted her phone slowly, deliberately. And with one small movement she pointed it right at us and snapped a photo. Camille grabbed the back of the seat. No, Phil. She must be following his instructions. He's part of this. She. My breath hitched. The woman mouthed a single word as the bus sped past. Found. Camille jumped from her seat. We have to get OFF. Now. What? But we're moving. Now, Janelle. She ran to the front, hit the emergency stop button, and the bus lurched violently as passengers shouted. The doors opened halfway down the block and she pulled me off the bus before I could think. We bolted back down the sidewalk, away from the woman, away from the street, down an alley filled with dumpsters and loading docks. Camille shoved me behind a rusted dumpster. Stay here. What do you mean stay here? I need to see if she's following. Or if he's close. No. We stay together. She grabbed my face with both hands. If we're together, we're easier to find. If we split for a moment, maybe. She froze mid-sentence. Footsteps echoed at the end of the alley. Slow, calm, familiar. Marcus stepped into view. I stopped breathing. He didn't look frantic. He didn't look angry. He didn't look surprised. He looked certain. Certain that we would end up exactly here. He took one step closer. Camille, he said softly, why are you running again? Camille blocked me with her body, her voice trembling but fierce. Get away from her. I can't do that. You don't own her. You're right, he said, his eyes sliding to me. I don't own her. Then he smiled. That same slow, careful, calculated smile that haunted my nightmares. I chose her. My heart cracked. He turned his head slightly, eyes still on me. And she chose me too. Didn't you, sweetheart? Don't talk to her. Camille snapped. Marcus ignored her. He stepped closer. Just one step. But it pushed the air from my lungs. Janelle, come here. No, I whispered. He tilted his head. Are you sure? Yes. He paused. Then his smile shifted. Not to anger, but to something colder. Regret. I didn't want it to end this way, he murmured. Camille tightened her grip on my arm. Run. Marcus reached into his jacket and pulled out a gun. My scream caught in my throat. No, Marcus, please don't. Camille pushed me back, putting her body between the gun and me. Put it down, she yelled. Aimed directly at her. I don't need you anymore, he whispered. I cried out. A raw, broken sound. As he steadied his hand. Camille met his eyes, her voice shaking but strong. You'll never control her. Marcus's finger tightened. And everything happened at once. A shout behind us. A metallic clang. A blinding noise. And then, Camille collapsed. I caught her before she hit the ground. Blood blossomed across her side. Marcus didn't run. He didn't panic. He didn't even hide. He just lowered the gun and whispered, "This is your fault." And before I could move, before I could breathe, before I could scream, Marcus turned the gun toward me. And smiled. Camille's blood was warm on my hands. That's the first thing I remember. The heat of it. Too hot. Too alive. It soaked through my fingers, through my jeans, dripping onto the cracked pavement beneath us. My hands shook so violently I couldn't tell where my trembling ended and hers began. Camille, stay with me. Oh God, please. She tried to speak but only a choked gasp came out. Her fingers curled weakly into the fabric of my shirt, like she was trying to anchor herself to the world. Marcus stepped toward us, slow, deliberate, calm. Not even breathing hard. As if shooting her was no more difficult than closing a door. I looked up at him, my vision swimming through tears. You're insane, Marcus, you're... Sweetheart, he murmured, tilting his head slightly. You don't understand what she's done to us. Us. My voice cracked. There is no us. He sighed, almost disappointed. You always say things you don't mean when you're scared. He took another step, raising the gun again. Come here. I'll fix this. Fix. I screamed. You shot her. His jaw flexed. She kept getting in the way. Camille's grip tightened on my shirt, her eyes wide with terror. She tried to push me away, tried to get me to run, but I couldn't leave her. I wouldn't. Janelle, she gasped, her voice barely audible. Go. I'm not leaving you. You have to, her breath hitched, her body trembling. He'll kill you if he gets close enough. I'm not leaving, I repeated, sobbing. Marcus sighed again, shaking his head like we were two children refusing to cooperate. Enough, he said quietly. Stand up. No. Janelle. His voice cooled. Stand. Up. No, I whispered, pressing my hands against Camille's wound. I'm not going anywhere with you. For the first time, a faint crack appeared in his face. Not rage. Not sadness. Irritation. He took another slow step, raising the gun, eyes locked on mine. Don't make me hurt you, he whispered. You already have, I murmured. And something in him shifted. His expression softened into something disturbingly tender. I love you. I shook my head violently. You don't even know what love is. His lips parted. A small, fragile expression. As if the words wounded him. Camille groaned in pain and Marcus's eyes flicked down to her. His face hardened instantly. She needs to stop. I squeezed Camille's hand, shaking. Marcus, please, please don't. She's going to die anyway, he said simply. She is not my concern. You are. My stomach twisted. He raised the gun again and pointed it at me. Marcus, my voice trembled. Stop, please. He inhaled deeply, steadying his aim. I'm sorry, sweetheart, but you leave me no choice. His finger moved, and suddenly, a loud crash exploded behind him. Marcus jerked around, startled. I blinked through tears in time to see a giant metal dumpster lid swinging down from above, smashed into him with brutal force. He crumpled to the ground instantly. Behind the lid, standing on top of the dumpster, breath heaving, face flushed, was a woman in a blue apron. A warehouse worker. She stared at Marcus's unconscious body, eyes wide. Oh my God, she whispered. Did I didn't wait. I crawled to Marcus's body as Camille groaned in pain behind me. He lay on his side, the gun knocked several feet away. He wasn't dead. He was breathing. Shallow, slow but alive. I grabbed the gun and kicked it further across the alley, far out of reach. The woman jumped down from the dumpster. I saw him pull a gun on you. I didn't know what else to do. You saved us, I cried. You saved us both. Camille coughed weakly. Janelle. I crawled back to her and held her trembling hand. Stay with me, okay? Stay with me. The ambulance is coming. You're going to be fine. She blinked slowly. You're safe. We're both safe. No, she exhaled painfully. He'll come after you again. I shook my head fiercely. No. Not anymore. It's over. It's never over, she whispered. I tightened my grip. This time it is. The warehouse worker pulled out her phone. I'm calling 911. Don't move her. Just hold pressure. Help's coming. But as I pressed my palms against Camille's wound, I felt her growing colder. Her grip loosened. Her breathing slowed. No, stay with me, I pleaded, sobbing. Stay with me, Camille. Please. She looked at me, her eyes softening, not with fear, but relief. Thank you, she whispered. For what? I cried. For believing me. Her eyes drifted closed. Her hand fell limp. Camille, wake up, please wake up. I shook her gently, desperate, refusing to accept what was happening. Camille, I can't do this without you, Camille, wake up. But she didn't wake. Her chest stopped rising. Her fingers didn't twitch. Camille, the woman who saved my life. The woman who risked everything to warn me. The woman who fled and survived and fought. Was gone. I screamed, the sound echoing down the alley, raw and breaking open something inside me that I didn't know could shatter. The warehouse worker gently touched my shoulder. I'm so sorry. Sirens wailed in the distance. Pose. Police cars screeched to a stop at the alley entrance. Officers rushed in, shouting commands, guns drawn. Paramedics followed seconds later. Ma'am, step back. No, I can't, she's. Step back, please. Hands gently pulled me away from Camille's body. I couldn't feel my legs. Couldn't feel anything. I watched through tears as paramedics tried, really tried, but their faces told me they knew. She was already gone. 2 officers approached Marcus's unconscious body, handcuffing him before checking his pulse. He groaned faintly. Alive. Of course he was alive. When the detectives questioned me, I told them everything. Everything Camille told me. Everything he did. Everything he planned. Every threat. Every moment of manipulation. I didn't hold back. And for once they listened. Maybe it was the gun. Maybe it was my injuries. Maybe it was the blood on my hands. Maybe it was Camille's lifeless body on the ground. Or maybe, for the first time, someone saw Marcus for who he really was. Hours passed. Statements were taken. Photos. Tears. Questions. Blankets wrapped around my shoulders. A cup of water I couldn't drink. Eventually they told me he was in custody. Charged with everything. But the only words that kept echoing in my head were the last ones Camille ever said. Thank you for believing me. I cried until my chest hurt. 2 days later I attended her small family memorial. Her sister hugged me like she knew exactly what Camille meant to me. Maybe she did. Maybe Camille told her. I stood beside her closed casket and whispered the promise I knew Camille needed to hear. I'll never let him hurt anyone else. Not ever again. And I kept that promise. I testified. I showed every message. Every lie. Every bruise Camille sent me photos of before she ran. Every record. Every threat. Marcus was found guilty. And sentenced. Not for long enough. Never feels long enough. But long enough that he couldn't touch me. Or anyone else. Years passed. And the fear didn't disappear. Not completely. But it quieted. And one night as I sat on my couch staring at the window, making sure it was locked for the 10th time, I heard something inside me soften. A voice, not out loud but inside my memory. Camille's voice. You're safe, she whispered. For the first time I believed it. And every time fear creeps back into my bones, every time shadows feel too heavy, every time I lock my doors a little too tightly at night, I remember the woman who saved me. The woman he tried to erase. The woman whose courage kept me alive long enough to finally escape him. Camille didn't die for nothing. She saved my life. She saved countless others. And I will tell her story for the rest of mine. Because the day my husband's real wife showed up at my door, she didn't just warn me. She saved me. And her truth? It's louder than his lies will ever be.